Welcome to House Talk on KAFM 88.1 Community Affairs. This is a monthly program that features local experts to discuss real estate topics of interest to home buyers and sellers in Mesa County. For your host, I'm Kate Porce. I'm a realtor at RE/MAX 4000.
And I'm Janice Burtis. I'm also a realtor at RE/MAX 4000.
And we're going to kick this segment off with some local statistics for Mesa County's real estate market. Interesting number for the average sales price year to date, $449,000.
$449,000. Kate, we're up.
We are up. So if you look at where we were this time last year, 447. So we're up slightly, but I think this really shows that big fear that people had, especially at the beginning of the year, that prices were going to plummet this year, absolutely did not come to fruition.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, and if you look at just the month of September, the average sales price in Mesa County for the month of September was $451, so even a little bit higher for that month. So still trending in that slightly up, at least holding steady, if not slightly up direction.
Did you have stats, Kate, of how many properties have sold this year compared to last year?
I didn't pull that yet, but we are seeing a decline in that, and that's mostly because people aren't listing their homes for sale. They have those great interest rates. They want to hold on to those. Little uncertainty about what's happening in the world and the economy. So a lot of people are not wanting to put their homes on the market. But honestly, I think that's a little bit of a mistake. If people are wanting to sell, if they're not happy with where they're living or need to change their situation, I actually think it's a great time to be listing your home.
Kate, I think it's a great time to be listing your home. I'll give you two examples in the past week for me. I had a buyer come in from out of state, and he was a cash buyer, $2.5 million, and bought 7 residential properties. So, you know, you've got those happening. And then I had another 1031 buyer who is moving his money from Craig, Colorado, and putting it into a really nice commercial building here that has an 11-year lease on it, a $2 million transaction. So, you know, you've got both residential and commercial moving. They're still going strong, not great, but they're still moving. And I think if you're a seller and you have a product to sell, don't waste one day. Put it on the market.
And, you know, I can really echo that sentiment because we have buyers. We have a list of buyers, people that, I want to buy. I just can't find the right home for me because there aren't many homes to choose from. I've got a similar situation where I have some clients that are from out of state. They love the lifestyle here, want to come make this their new home. We've been looking and they have quite a bit of money to spend, but they're just not finding what they want because, you know, we can show 1 or 2 houses at a time when they come into town because that's all there is to show them for their price range. So I know a lot of people also start thinking, well, this is, you know, toward the end of the year, we're getting close to the holidays. Maybe this isn't the time of year to be listing, but I don't agree with that either. There are buyers out there. The demand is still there. And
people are watching.
Yeah.
The people that are your real buyers are really watching. And so when you put those houses on the market, you're going to get them sold in the first couple of weeks when it's something that those buyers are looking for. So don't be afraid of the market. Interest rates may be a little bit of a drawback, but there's ways to overcome that as well.
Yep, that's when you start getting creative.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you are going to put your home on the market, we want to make sure that you're not doing making some common mistakes that people do. So we pulled top 10 mistakes that sellers sometimes make when they're listing their house. So I think the first one, number 1, not expecting home selling costs. People want to sell their home. They don't realize that there are expenses that go along with that.
And that's all part of getting pre-qualified, Kat. So the very first thing that you do when you're going to buy a house is you're going to go get pre-qualified. Same thing with the seller. If you're getting ready to sell your home, you're going to talk to your realtor, and they're going to tell you all of the costs that are associated with selling that home. And you can even get a seller's net proceed for both buyer and seller to show you what all those costs are.
So that net sheet is what I call it, that I do for my sellers. It breaks down line by line exactly what costs you're going to need to incur to sell. We're talking usually title insurance. You'll have some taxes that you'll pay for January 1 through whatever the closing day is. Prepping your home might incur some costs. What else am I missing?
Well, the other thing that people don't realize is if you have any tax liens, you need to disclose those to your realtor. I think those are hidden costs that you think they're hidden for you, but they do come into the public light. So anything you have that you need to tell your realtor, please tell them.
And do that up front, because that can save a lot of headaches as we're moving through the process, for sure. Okay, mistake number 2, trying to sell your home without an agent. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, I think what people don't realize is how much marketing we do as agents to all the different websites. And as a seller, you think, well, maybe I'll just put it on Zillow and that'll be good enough. Well, there are lots of different ways that people access the internet now. And, if you're watching for a house, you'll probably miss it if it's only on Zillow.
And I think also sometimes people think, well, I'm going to save the money because I'm not going to hire a realtor to sell this for me, not realizing that the realtor has some really extensive knowledge on how to price that house, how to work through hiccups that might come up during the transaction process that can actually get you even more money.
Correct. That's what I was going to say, Kate.
What the commission fees are.
That's right. You usually, as a realtor, can get the house priced and sold in an amount of time that aids the seller in making more money in the long run than it would in the short run.
What about hiring an inexperienced agent? I think experience can go a long way, especially in a market that can be a little bit more challenging, like what we're seeing.
Well, I wouldn't be afraid of hiring an inexperienced agent who associates with a firm that is very, very experienced. Kate, you and I work for RE/MAX. It's a very experienced agency. We have access to many, many people who have experience. Some of our younger, newer agents are really, really good. But find out, if they don't know the answers to questions, where are they getting their answers? So kind of have a good idea, interview with your agent to find out, if you don't know, where are you going?
And I think it's important for people to realize that you are allowed to interview agents. I essentially wake up every morning and I feel like I have to go apply for a job because
that's
to
what
go
we
find
do.
New
That's
clients,
exactly
right?
what we do.
And so every day I'm trying to explain what my experience is and how I can help. So I think it's important for people to realize, if you're going to sell your house, talk to more than one agent. See what their techniques are, what their experience are. Like you said, where do they go if they don't have the answer at the top of their head? What can they offer? And make sure you find the person that's going to do the best job for you.
And some personalities just don't mix.
Yeah.
I'm an engineer by background. I do things very, very methodically, and I run by the numbers. Sometimes I have to be really careful how I present that, but that came with experience too. I've learned to read people and figure out how to communicate with them better. So I think the older we get, the more we learn to communicate.
I agree with that. You're listening to House Talk on KAFM Grand Junction. I'm Kate Porras, a realtor with RE/MAX 4000, here with Janice Burtis, also a realtor at RE/MAX 4000. We're talking about mistakes that home sellers sometimes make. We're on mistake number 4, pricing it incorrectly.
One of the things
a big one
that I see that's been happening is people were so used to our market where things sold so quickly and you could push price a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. This is absolutely not the right market to push price too much. People are very, very smart with the pricing, and if you're that much over, people are not going to make an offer on your house.
They won't even bother showing it.
They will not.
So I kind of counsel my clients, we're going to list the house. We're going to list it at this price. We're going to get feedback in a couple of different forms. One, if somebody does show it, then we always solicit feedback from that person. Hey, what do you think about the price, the condition, things like that. But the other big thing to pay attention to is whether or not we're even getting any showings in the first place.
Correct.
Because if you're not, that's a good sign that you're overpriced.
The other thing that you can see is if you've gotten multiple offers and those offers are at a very specific price, because buyers are smart nowadays and they'll show you what that house should be priced at. So pay attention to the offers you're getting too. That's a good key to how to price your house.
All right, we only have a couple minutes left. We'll go through these next few a little bit quickly. Mistake number 5, hiding major repairs. Definitely don't want to do that because buyers are going to do a home inspection. They're going to find out that there's these issues.
Well, by law, you have to release
disclose
material facts.
Yeah, anything that
Don't
you
hide
know
them.
is wrong, just be upfront. Don't have any skeletons in the closet, literally or figuratively, on that one. Happy Halloween coming up. Mistake number 6, selling to move into a home that you can't afford.
You know, a lot of people make this. I did. I know with my very, very first house that I bought when I was 23 years old, you buy more house than you can afford. You can afford it, but you can do nothing else.
Yeah.
So
don't be house poor.
don't be house poor.
And realize that just because you're buying this house now doesn't mean that you can't sell it down the road for something bigger, something more of what you want that's closer to your dream house. You don't have to live in the same house your entire life.
I agree with that.
All right. Mistake number 7, skimping on staging. It's another one of those where you get what you put your money into.
Well, and if you walk into a house and you have clothes everywhere and clutter everywhere, and then you walk into the next house and it's neat as a pin, clean as a pin, and people are going to want the neater, cleaner, shinier. It's just like an apple. You want the shiny apple.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Mistake number 8, using bad listing photos. One of my pet peeves is when I am going through the MLS and looking for properties for buyers, and I see a house that would be a beautiful house, but the photos are just not good.
And they take them with their cell phone and their shadows are in the pictures.
Yes,
so.
Or they have, the family dog is looking at you in the middle of the living room or things like that. It's so distracting.
Yes.
Your house is going to get overlooked. Spend the time to do some nice photos. And usually a good agent will help you with that.
That's correct.
All
Take professional pictures.
Professional photos. Number 9, taking a low offer personally. This is hard because if it's a seller, you have a lot of pride in your home. This has been your home. You probably have a lot of good memories there. Someone brings you a low ball offer and you think, what is wrong with these people?
I try to tell my seller, do not take it personally, but counter every single offer. At least give them a good counter. Don't be ornery and counter at full price. Or if that's your number, counter at full price. But give them a counter. Don't just reject the offer.
It's not personal. It's business.
It's business.
All right. And mistake number 10, allowing limited numbers of showings. This one can be frustrating for a listing agent.
I just advised a seller last week. They were packing up. They had boxes everywhere, movers everywhere. They didn't want showings. We had an out-of-town buyer. I said, you need to take this showing. They showed it. It was a disaster. We had an offer. So don't ever refuse a showing if you don't have to.
The more people you get looking, the better chance you have of getting that good offer.
That's correct.
Janice, we went through these kind of quickly. If anybody has questions about selling a home, want some more information, how can they get a hold of you?
You can easily find me at REMAX 4000. I'm Janice at janiceburtis.com.
And you can email me as well or check out my website, kateporras.com. This segment airs on the second Wednesday of each month. You can also listen to podcasts on demand at KAFMCommunityRadio.org. Make sure to join us next month for another edition of House Talk. And if you have a topic that you'd like for us to address, feel free to let me know. I'd love to bring that up and discuss it next time. Take care.